great Braylon Edwards and, of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, let's go Monday show, August 12th, 2024. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button as well. Braylon out today. Anson Wells in for him. Anson is like the all-everything here for the
I'm
Ermanni
the glue,
Edwards.
baby.
You are the Ermanni, you are the Edwards, you are the Maz.
That's right. That's right.
How are you, buddy?
I'm fantastic. It's a gorgeous day outside. Maz is back in town, so I could talk to him.
What a great day.
He'll answer my calls.
What a great
Maggie's
day.
back in town.
Good afternoon to you. Hey, by the way, is the air broken here?
It was really hot, and we're starting to cool it down. I'm sorry, doing the best we can. I brought the bad weather back for me from Jersey, I guess. I apologize. Finally, I get to talk to you guys. You guys have been calling me nonstop, texting me on my vacation, and here I am.
Thursday.
I'm here.
We tried you on Thursday during the show. You didn't answer.
I missed it. I'm sorry.
Oh, did you miss it?
I did.
I just wanted to make sure that wasn't like an automatic decline.
No, I missed it.
That is a flat-out lie, Maz.
He looked at it.
You saw it, and you said,
No. I saw it. It was like 3:45.
Oh, okay.
And I wasn't going to call in at 3:45.
You eating a pie or
Show
something?
was still on.
No, it was Dr. Pierce time. I know.
Doctor,
Even though I'm off,
Doc would
I
have loved to have
understand.
heard from you.
Now, Anson's been badgering me the entire time. And then him and Braylon against me. Braylon and Kenny against me.
Damn right.
With their LeBron-led USA team. And I was rooting for Serbia, and I was rooting for France. Yeah, that's right. I was rooting against the ladies. They escaped with a 1-point win. We'll get to all of that. That's fine. But they're going to give LeBron the MVP? That's a joke.
How?
That
is
freaking
a joke.
How?
I don't care how much you love LeBron James. The fact that he
Get
got MVP was a joke.
They wouldn't make it to the final without him.
They played the sisters of the
close
Wait a
board.
second. Can I stick up for a guy that you guys know I am not a fan of?
Thank you.
This guy
Unbiased.
carried this team through the first 4 games.
Against who?
Again, well, he in
They
the
almost lost
American
to
games,
Sudan and
he would have
Serbia.
lost to South Sudan if he did not completely put that team on his
South
back.
Sudan, a basketball power.
I get that, but if we would have lost that game, even with the gold medal, we'd be talking about the South Sudan loss. That guy put him on that whole team on his back before the qualifying rounds. First 4 games, he was fantastic. Shout out to Married Stick, just walked in here.
Hey, your lights on.
Hey.
Then he had a
Flashlights
triple-double in the Serbia game, and he was
Yes.
2 assists away from another triple-double.
By the
Now,
way, he
did turn the ball
traveled on
over
his way
5
to.
times.
He traveled on that last layup that put him up 5.
Oh,
that was a
wow.
complete travel. Complete
You did
travel.
hit it, man.
It was an ugly game offensively for LeBron, but he did all of the other little stuff. In hindsight, to me, I
Garbage.
think that Joker was the MVP of that whole tournament because Serbia
Steph
goes
Curry was.
nowhere without. No, Steph Curry
Steph
was
struggled,
the
man,
MVP of
until
the
that
championship game.
Steph,
The
they
gold
didn't
medal
need-
game. That
they
was
didn't
it.
need him till then.
Steph
So-
Curry is the player of this
so-
generation, not LeBron James.
Let me
you.
ask you. Let me ask you guys this: If Steph Curry, if the United States loses the gold medal game, who's the MVP? Somebody on
Probably
France,
Victor
right?
Wembanyama.
Somebody on France, right?
Yeah.
Because why?
They won.
Because they won in the gold medal game.
Yeah.
Steph Curry was the best player in probably any gold medal game in the history of gold medal games.
Yes.
He should have won the MVP.
Easy.
The only guy in history to score 35 points in an Olympic game, a college game, and a pro game.
Yeah.
And who's my favorite player of all time? Everyone knows it's on record.
It's Steph Curry.
Which
Steph
is why
Curry.
you're upset.
It's Steph Curry.
They don't even
Without
sniff
him,
the final
LeBron. LaFraud is getting a bronze medal put around his neck, like I asked at the beginning of the series. I couldn't wait to see it. And you know what? My guy saved the bacon for them. That's all I got to say.
But again, and it's so hard to take. It's kind of like the message gets lost with the messenger. And I think Tom Mazawey, anything he says about LeBron James is just not going to get heard. But I will say that performance by Steph Curry was one of the greatest single performances in Olympic basketball history.
True.
And because of that, I think you get the MVP. And again, if they lose that game, and by the way, if Steph Curry isn't who he is and hits those threes in the fourth quarter, they lose that game. LeBron James is not the MVP. Steph Curry isn't the MVP. It's Victor Wembanyama or Nicholas Batum or somebody who is fantastic.
Gershon was great.
But what I'm saying
Go
is,
to the Serbia game. It would have been the Joker.
what I'm saying is, the MVP is won and lost in that gold medal game, and it just is. And they don't wear gold without Steph Curry in that game. Like the gold medal game isn't won in round 2.
The
MVP isn't won in round 2. The MVP isn't won in the semifinal round.
Who did the game? Iron Eagle or
Let me tell you this much too.
Was it Noah or
It was
Iron?
Noah Eagle.
He's great.
Let me tell you, Noah Eagle was fantastic.
He's in his 20s.
Him and Dwayne Wade,
Dwayne Wade was horrific.
You only
and
like Dwayne
shouldn't
Wade?
be by a microphone ever.
He's too quiet. He's too
He
soft-spoken.
was so monotone
Yeah.
and soft
Yeah.
and did not meet
You need Bill
the
Raftery.
excitement.
Bill Raftery
He did
makes
not
that.
meet the excitement at all. Now, I don't know if he's ever done games before, if they just threw him
They're just starting him now.
into the thing. But I assume he'll be on NBA and NBC,
Yeah.
probably. But that's a terrible, terrible job for him. He should be a studio analyst, not a game analyst. Big difference.
Give him a chance. He might grow into it.
He might,
He might
yeah.
grow into it. But they called him Captain America. It ruined my
Captain
vacation.
Here, you
It ruined my vacation.
You want to help? You want to help you out?
I wanted to throw up.
Here's more LeBron hate, if I may. So this was making the rounds on social media after the game.
yeah.
A kid approaches LeBron James trying to get a
Photo.
A picture.
selfie.
Make space, guys, for King. Make space. Congratulations.
Stop! Don't do that.
There's a better
There is a
up close,
way
and he's
better
like
up
back
close.
up,
Yeah,
back
yeah.
up.
Yeah, there's
What
a
an
way better
a-hole.
up close.
Yeah.
It's
What a
just
jackass.
well, it was not to me. It was not a good look from LeBron James. There was not a lot of people there. Just leave it alone. But you know,
So I don't
in
know.
a different
Y'all
country,
splitting hairs at this point.
in a different country, not a good
What
look.
was he staying in? A 5-star hotel? He wasn't staying in the Olympic Village.
I don't know.
I mean, these guys got it made, man. He could have given that kid a pick. He's just, I can't. Oh my God, I can't stand.
So did you guys all watch the game?
Yes.
Yeah. You?
I watched
I watched
a little.
the second
Watched a
half.
little?
I watched the second half.
Okay. So when they switch everything over to the digital cable or digital TV and you don't have an antenna anymore, it doesn't work very well. I don't know if you guys are up to date on that, but it never has. So my father and I pirated it and we watched it in Bulgarian. But the cool thing about foreign sports broadcasts is afterwards it's not just 2 dudes or 3 dudes talking about it. They show a lot of what's going on the floor, and then they just do a whole, basically a breakdown of the entire game, just all the action. It takes 10 minutes to go through. The most fascinating part of that game was watching afterwards. One, Victor Wembanyama crying and talking to KD, who really is his idol. And then the moment between Steph and Steve Kerr, because those two know that it's over, right? That their last hurrah was this.
I got something to say about
And
him
the fact that Steph Curry was able to do what he did at the end of that game, I will tip my hat to you guys what your point is. The fact that he was able to do what he did in that game, to be able to just flat out win it, because that game was really close up until there was, I think it was a 5 or 6 point lead, and they had an opportunity to score 2, but it went the other way, and it was a 5-point swing. Game was pretty much capped at that. But it was very interesting for me. I thought that Wembanyama maybe had 18, 19 points.
No, he had
How many
26.
did he have? Do you know?
He had 26.
Exactly. In 20 or in 30 minutes. And if you watch that game, every time he started to get in a little bit of a rhythm, they took him out.
Yeah.
And they put him back in after a minute and a half, but
Made
I
no
just
sense.
didn't understand it. The passion on that kid's face, the emotion, he might regret a little bit showing tears, but that guy had an opportunity in front of his home court or in his home country. He'll never have that opportunity again to win a gold medal in France. They should have left him out for all 40 minutes. And I will say that guy was the best player in the tournament, period, and he's 19 years old, KG.
Yeah, and did you hear what he said to one of the reporters after the game? They
It's
asked,
over.
Yeah, no, they.
Yep, he said it's over.
Yeah,
moving forward.
Yeah, he did say that. He said that I'm getting better, and they need to be watching out for me. They said in the FIBA or the NBA, and he said everywhere.
Yep.
Yes.
So man, Wemby is going to be a force for years to come. But my point with LeBron is, like, yes, you guys are right. Steph Curry had the game of his life in the gold medal game.
No,
But
just one of the games of his life.
LeBron, who also had a double-double in this game, Steph Curry doesn't get as open as he does if it wasn't for that pick and pop game. The pick and pop between Steph and LeBron was absolutely unstoppable, man. And the defense of France had to account for LeBron driving to the lane, which left Steph Curry open a lot in this game. Now, of course, down the stretch, he had to make some shots that were, of course, contested, but I just don't want LeBron's performance to be slept on, because not only was he the catalyst in the games before, but in this championship game, he really, I know he had a quiet game, but he was really the catalyst to Steph Curry's performance. That's all I'm saying.
It's like, I understand it, and anytime you try to prop somebody up, it sounds like you're knocking somebody down.
Not trying to.
No, I'm just saying what we're doing with Steph Curry. What Steph Curry has done for the game of basketball is unlike anything we've seen since Michael Jordan.
Facts.
Right? It's
Different, because you and I could do what he does. Putting in the time, he's a 6-foot guy that isn't soaring over and dunking on people and making madly athletic plays. He's the first layman that has dominated in basketball.
Well, it just goes back to, a couple of things about this. One, Steph Curry to me is the greatest player of this generation.
Ooh.
He just maybe not player. What I'm trying to say is I would much rather buy a ticket to go watch Steph Curry play basketball than LeBron James. Let me say it like that.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Let me say it like that. LeBron is an all-time great. If I got to pick a game to go see, Detroit Pistons versus Steph and the Warriors, LeBron and the Lakers. Steph Curry throughout. I just think Steph Curry is one of the most transcendent players we have ever seen in the history of basketball.
And he's never chased a ring. He's always been on the same team.
That's a part of it too, and that's why people love him. But let me say this, and that's another reason why people don't like LeBron James, because he left for Miami, then he left for L.A., and then he went back to Cleveland.
He took his talents to Miami.
And that rubbed people the wrong way.
He was a free agent, though.
That rubbed people the wrong way. I'll say this, too. Steve Kerr might be one of the biggest frauds. You talk about fraud for LeBron.
He's overrated.
Steve Kerr, and it's not just Kerr, though. What we do with these coaches when you have an all-time player, okay, Steve Kerr is one of the most overrated coaches in the history of the game. Wow. And it makes me think Phil Jackson is too.
Ooh.
Like, Phil Jackson never won anything without Shaq and Kobe or Michael and Scotty.
Or
he just didn't.
Tex Winter. Very important.
Fine. I'll say it's more important that he didn't win anything with Jordan without Jordan and Pippen. Or, Steph, Shaq and Kobe. How we categorize these coaches as great coaches, too. I would say that Larry Brown is a better coach than Phil Jackson. I would say that Larry Brown is a better coach than Steve Kerr. I would say the same thing about Chuck Daly. I would say the same thing about a lot of these other guys.
Yes. Good point.
Out there that have had the benefit of coaching an absolute all-time great.
Joe Mazzulla's better.
So what Steve Kerr, I would say that Eric Spoelstra is a better coach than Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
And Spoelstra is on a list of great coaches and stuff like that, but Spoelstra is not on a list that Steve Kerr is on because of the championships won. And I think
who did Spoelstra win his championships with?
Spoelstra has demonstrated a multi-year period over a decade-long period of excellence.
Yeah. He got Jimmy Butler to the finals.
Of a standard.
I mean, he took an 8 seed far.
He does
Otherwise, what he did with 3 or 4 Hall of Famers,
yes.
no?
And that just goes to show you what you can do with the Hall of Famers. But I think it's harder to do what Spoelstra does with a bunch of also-rans.
Yeah.
And you make the playoffs, you win a series here and there. I think it's much harder and Spoelstra is the perfect example of this because it shows you what you can do when you have a number of Hall of Famers on your team. The championships, you just waltz to the finals and you'll win a championship here and there. But when you don't have that, what can you do with that talent?
Still makes it to the
Spoelstra
finals.
still makes it to the
Twice.
playoffs.
Consistent winner.
Still wins series.
Yep, consistent
still
winner,
makes it to the
Bubble.
finals.
Bubble.
Yeah, bubble
But
and,
again-
and last year.
They got it on
so-
Spoelstra.
But
They do.
you see what I'm saying?
I'm not a Phil Jackson fan, but I have to push back a little bit, okay? When you have a guy like Michael Jordan and you have to surround him with personalities from Pippen to Rodman to Kukoc, you have to be a Zen master. And then when you go to LA and you have to keep Kobe and Shaq happy, you have to be a Zen master. You have to find different methods of motivation than most teams find. I don't think that any other coach wins 9 championships with those teams.
Fair enough. Okay, take Phil out of the mix because he's only coached Michael and Scotty
And the triangle
and
means something.
Shaq and Kobe.
And mind you, those guys knew who they were playing for.
Right.
Like there was a coming together that was, they were following Phil, if you will.
But again, name me a coach that has won a championship without an all-time great. I'm talking about without a top 50 player
Your
in
boy
the history
Larry.
of the game.
Larry
Brown is it. Larry Brown is it. And that's why I think these coaches like Spoelstra, like Brown, are on a completely different level than anybody. And by the way, Larry did get to, well, I guess Allen Iverson you would consider perhaps an all-time great, but he did get
But he
to
was
a
alone.
finals, but he was alone.
So, Ryan, if the Pistons had Corliss Williamson in 2005, do you believe that they beat the Spurs?
Well, I think they beat the Spurs if Rasheed Wallace doesn't leave it.
Yes.
I think that doesn't
Big
go
shot
7
Bob.
with Corliss. I think he was sorely missed on that second unit. Just a rough player that could, put in some, 12 points a game. And it was Larry Brown that orchestrated the trade for a super washed Derek Coleman, who I believe played 18 games in that season. So I like your Larry Brown point. There's too much futility on other
But
teams
just
that
get
were
back
supposed to
Kerr.
be great.
Take Phil Jackson out of it. Put Phil Jackson off to the side.
He really did a great job with the Knicks.
Right. Well, there you go.
No, he didn't.
Specifically talking about Steve Kerr. Let me ask you: could Mark Jackson have done what Steve Kerr did?
Yes.
I say yes.
Hell yes.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
And by the way, Mark Jackson isn't even a coach in this league anymore.
But with Mark Jackson, they weren't playing the style of basketball that Steve Kerr kind of introduced to them. So Steve Kerr doesn't get credit for that at all?
I do. I think because Steph Curry was so young.
Yeah.
If they would have
And he
just
was injury
stuck
prone
it,
early.
if they just stuck it out with him for another year, maybe you get there. And again, I'm trying to make a point too, so I might be going too overboard
got
in
you.
trying to make the point. But it's just like we give so much love to these players and these coaches that have so much success, and I think it's harder to do what Eric Spoelstra does than what Steve Kerr does.
See, I have a bone to pick with all 3 of the coaches on that sideline because I'm pretty sure that Ryan, you, myself, and KG could take Spoelstra, Lou, and Kerr in a
Right.
game right now.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr, he took the triangle that he won some championships with Jordan playing. He took an evolution of that to Golden State, and it really worked fantastically. But I think we talked on Friday, there's some talk that maybe Klay Thompson isn't washed. Maybe that offensive system that has not evolved since he brought that evolved
He's going
form
to
of
be
it.
great in Dallas.
Well, Kerr's been running a stale offense for 5 years now,
yeah.
and he brought it to France, and it was pretty close to exposed. So I'm all over your point with Kerr. I think you and I could maybe dispute who the top coaches are that didn't have the benefit of a superstar, but I do think that Kerr what he brings as a head coach was really exposed. And if it weren't for some crazy Hail Mary threes by his boy Steph Curry, they'd be going home with silver.
Yeah.
Eric Woodyard,
Bronze.
Eric Woodyard, Lions reporter, is going to join us in about 10 minutes. We'll wrap up the Lions week, move ahead to talk about what's happening. They've got the Steelers, they've got the Chiefs in the next couple of weeks. So we'll talk to Eric Woodyard coming up about the Detroit Lions in about 10 minutes from now. I just want to stick with the Olympics for a little while longer. Are you happy they're over? Because I am. I am not an Olympic guy. I was into it over the weekend a little bit with the women's soccer on Saturday morning. That was an awesome game. The men's basketball, then the women's basketball was a great finish. I watched the finish. Nearly lost. The three-pointer, the toe was on the line, so they lose by one. Or, excuse me, the women win by one. But once it came down to knowing it was for a gold medal, and knowing what the score was, I can't do the judges events and things like, whoa, it was like the swimming and diving. Oh, 9.6. Why is it not a 9.7? You know what I mean?
Get you.
Well,
I got my number one gripe with the Olympics, and I know they try to evolve them. But to have breakdancing, it's almost like gymnastics. Let's just say that. Hold on.
now.
Are you denigrating Rachel Ray Gun
No, you're right.
from
I'm not
Australia,
Is that the
who scored
Australian?
no points in
She
her
was
performance?
great. The Australian girl was real funny.
It's like
that was
possessed
great.
by a
I'm just
demon.
saying,
Actually, enjoy
you
it.
have that in, and you take baseball and softball out. Now they're going to get rid of boxing next year in the
Really?
LA Olympics.
Yeah.
It's not going to have boxing.
That's weird.
That's
It's
ridiculous.
it's a freaking disgrace to not have baseball and softball,
Yeah.
but have breakdancing and skateboarding.
But they are going to have flag football.
Flag football, I'm for.
But
come on, man.
I think it was Jeff Passan from ESPN Baseball Reporter
Give me a break.
said just how great it was for the NBA to have all of this talent in the Olympics, from every country that's playing. You have all this world talent in your game. Jeff Passan was like, baseball is completely missing the mark here by
doubt.
not getting
They do the
involved.
WBC, but it doesn't
Right.
even compare
Not even
to the
close.
Olympics.
Not even close.
been their
so
problem, though.
absolutely,
For a
there's
long
no
time.
doubt.
Can
I
you
mean,
imagine stopping baseball in the worst part of the year,
Right.
end of July, beginning of August, for 3 weeks and play an Olympic? And I
Yeah.
know you got contracts and you can't get hurt, but can you imagine those games?
Well, the only
That would have
difference,
been the most watched thing.
and to the NBA's credit here, it's not like they're stopping in the middle of their season.
Yeah, they
and
lucked
putting
out.
their season on hold to play in these games.
Yeah.
So I think you
luck
credit.
out.
Can you imagine? Heaven forbid, in 2028, when the Tigers are finally hoping to contend for a World Series, Tarek Skubal for Team USA goes out there and blows out.
Right.
Tommy John.
Tommy John
happens.
Worst
again.
case scenario.
It
You
happens.
know, I mean, you'd be totally pissed and you would hate it. When your team sucks, even though they won yesterday, good for them. It
split
doesn't
the Western
matter,
trip.
right? It
No, it
doesn't matter. So
I have an issue with winning a gold medal in basketball after winning 6 games. Like, I just think that that's a little too short.
Yeah.
I'm okay with them being over as well. I could watch more USA basketball. That's for certain. I could watch more French basketball. I could watch just more of that tournament. Again, 6 games to get there and win it all. That's a little too short for me. But, the girls took a break. They're going to come back, WNBA. I know that you were...
WNBA starts tonight, by the way.
Yeah, you were rooting for them to lose.
Oh, God, yeah.
I was too. As much as I wanted the men to
To me,
win,
that's a loss. They won by 1. That's a loss.
Yeah, there's just not
And to
every
me, I didn't
Caitlin-
even know they were on. That's the
Yeah,
difference.
I didn't watch it.
That's the Caitlin Clark difference.
I didn't watch it.
I did
is.
not.
Yeah.
That,
I didn't care.
Forget about the fact that they won by 1 or whatever. I didn't even know when the game was played. Now I did catch the tail end of it just flipping around, but I had no idea that the game was even on.
Yeah, if you got Caitlin and the double in on that team,
And they could have used
people
a
are
point guard help, by the way.
talking about them just as much as they're talking about the men's team. Like baseball, women's basketball missed the boat big time.
I agree. So again, hanging out.
I
Talking
did watch water polo, which I enjoyed.
Oh, very good.
Women's water polo. Let me
I'm sure you
describe
did.
women's water polo
Please.
to you.
Oh, God.
It takes less than an hour. It's 6.5 feet of water. And these girls can't touch the bottom, obviously. It's 40 yards long, about 30 yards wide.
Phenomenal.
It's 4 quarters of 8 minutes, and when you get a penalty, you sit out. You have to swim to the other side of the pool, and it's a 20-second power play. And then, of course, you have to swim back, so it's like an extra 5-6 seconds. It was a fun game, and they could be the best athletes in the world.
Stop it, man.
Stop.
Thank you, KG. I appreciate
Have
you.
you tried? Have you tried?
They might have
To
some
play.
of the best endurance in the world, but it's nice to know that you set an hour aside for water polo on your
did.
vacation.
Right.
I was sitting with my parents, my dad, and I was saying my dad can hardly see as it is, but it was a nice 1 hour thing I got to watch with my father.
All right, guys, I have a debate that I have been waging for years, and it's off of your point there. If you took the top 100 athletes from every single sport, basketball dominates everything, period. You do boxing, you do high jump, you do weightlifting, you do sprinting, hurdles, everything. NFL's taking second, and the NBA is going number 1. KG, you pushing back on that?
Nah, I'm trying to hear you out. That's all.
I'm pushing back.
I get a bunch of Detroiters telling me that, oh, no, hockey guys are the best. Come on, man. If
a bit of a hot
LeBron
take.
grew up with a hockey bag, he'd be the greatest of all time.
Oh, my gosh,
If
it's
he
so
was,
funny.
they asked him to play soccer, guess who'd be the greatest goaltender of all time? Yeah. You know, so I'm sorry, but when people say that, we're not even going to take water polo into serious consideration here, but basketball guys, the 6'11" guys that are running 4.5 40s that have touch and jumping ability, I don't think anybody can push back on me. Feel free, chat, but you're going to lose.
That is fantastic.
The
stuff.
races were great.
Hey, Maz,
track.
by the way, give us a quick synopsis of what went on in Jersey over the
All
last
right.
couple, please, because
do that.
I just got to hear a little Jersey.
I know.
Did you eat a sandwich at Satriali's?
No, we didn't go to Satriali's because it doesn't
closed.
exist anymore.
Did you have a pie?
Famous Rays or original
I
Rays?
know you had a pie.
I had a couple of pizza pies, of
Yes.
course, a few.
What city was your modus operandi out there?
Well, my sisters all live in Cedar Grove, which is about 10 minutes from the Meadowlands.
Okay.
Okay? So that's where it is. So I took my dad to the track, me, my brother-in-law, Jersey Mike, my nephew
love
Nick,
Jersey Mike, yeah.
a couple of my friends from my old high school, still friends with them. We all met at the track on Saturday. Got to watch the big Kentucky Derby of harness racing, which is called the Hambletonian.
Sure, of course
Had a
it is.
fun day. We were losing. On the way home,
Get out of here.
I'm betting on my phone still because the races are
Sick.
still going on.
Sick bet.
And I hit a superfecta for like $250 in the car. In the car. I didn't win at the track, but I won in the car, so I was able to recoup my money and win a few dollars.
No kidding.
It was
Congrats.
great. Then went to
Oh, my
Hoboken
gosh.
the next day, walked around on Washington Avenue, ate
That's a great little city.
two different pizza joints on Washington Avenue.
Oh, my gosh.
You had
Ate
them both,
there,
didn't you?
walked
Doesn't
a
get any
lot.
better than that
Went to
little
the
pie.
record store. Went to New York City.
Wow.
Walked around New York City for a few hours. My kids went there, had brunch, and then we went down the shore. And the shore sucked because it rained.
The Jersey
Really?
Shore?
Yeah, because it rained the entire damn time.
Oh, my
We were
gosh.
there. I mean, the ocean. I couldn't go in the ocean. I went in the pool. I'm like, the hell with it. I'm going in the pool. I don't care if it's raining. Went in the pool. Went in the hot tub, and drove home on the stupid Pennsylvania
Oh, my
Turnpike,
gosh.
which takes an extra 2 hours than Route 80. Route 80 is beautiful. Ohio Turnpike is great. Straight through on Route 80 to 75. You're
Saw
home.
a UFO on that drive once.
Did you?
Seriously.
You're home in 9.5 hours. This time we were home in 12 freaking hours.
Get out of here.
Long drive. Of course, the kids were getting on my wife's nerves towards the end of the trip. So that kind of took the fun out of it a little
the
bit, if you
steam
know
out.
what I mean. And
Yes.
had a great weekend. The weather here in Michigan was great. I came home. I looked at my pool. It was green. It was green because when I was away for the week, the rain, I had the cover on the damn thing.
Oh,
I don't know
my
what the
gosh.
hell happened, but
Green
it got all the
pool.
algae in it. It took me 3 hours to clean it on Saturday, and it's beautiful again now.
You buy some chlorine with those winnings?
Oh, yeah. Got some chlorine, added in there, shocked that pool.
Have you
scrubbed
done
it down.
Hoboken for St. Patty's Day?
Well, I'm sure back when I was
Yeah?
younger, I'm sure I did. But been to New York for the St. Patty's Day parade.
Hoboken was
It's
wild.
a Hoboken, man. Listen, my parents had a house in Hoboken, and I forgot what they sold it for years ago. Maybe $400,000.
Probably worth $1.5 million now.
It's over.
Yeah, of
it's like $2 million now.
Oh, of course.
Do you know what a 400 square foot apartment in Hoboken, 1 bathroom, 1 bedroom,
$2,500 a month.
to buy it?
Oh. $380.
Yes. Nice job.
Well
Really?
done.
$380.
Well done, my
Wow.
friend.
It's amazing.
No. $600. My bad.
Oh, that's a huge you're bad.
Yeah.
Right?
600.
I know, just double your guess.
$600,000 for an apartment.
Wow.
For an apartment. Hoboken is completely, what does they call it, gentrified now? And
Yeah.
They got all the stores. It looks like you're in a mall now.
Wow.
Instead of all these old brownstones. It still looks great.
Such a shame.
Great restaurants.
Yeah.
Good vibe. Young vibe now.
Oh my gosh.
It
Hey,
was-
did you go to you didn't go to the Lions Giants game?
No, because we went down to Shore that
Oh,
day
you
on
down to the
Thursday.
Jersey
I
Shore
picked
that
down
day.
took the Shore over
Who are
to
you
the
rooting
Lions.
for, by
Right,
the way?
that's what we were trying to
Listen to
figure
me, guys. I will always root for the Lions.
I said that.
Always.
Thank you.
Even
I
the
didn't
ti-
even think it was
Yes.
questionable.
Even if they play the Jets in this year's Super Bowl,
I didn't even think
I will root for the Lions.
Can I
My
just
man.
say on
You did say
Thursday it was
Yeah.
not even questionable.
It's
to
not
me.
even. It's
Not-
I love them so much that
Right.
it hurts.
Good job, man.
Okay?
Even
Right.
with Tommy Cutlass playing.
Yes.
Guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Eric Woodyard, ESPN Lions beat reporter. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Anson and the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan.
That's right. Join the best youth football league in Metro Detroit, the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan's 3C Sports League. It offers youth ages 5 to 14 with 6 exciting teams to choose from in Detroit, Belleville, Highland Park, and East Point. Eastside, what's up? All coaches are trained, certified, and undergo background checks. So make sure you register for football or cheer at bgcsm.org. Your equipment, meals, and transportation are included, all for a chance to play for a championship at Ford Field for just $175 per child. That's a heck of a deal. Make sure you put the youth back in youth sports with BGCSM 3C Sports.
And
Hey, and we're going to go to Planet Fitness.
Yes, we are.
We're staying in shape. We're staying active. And no matter where you are, there is a Planet Fitness near you. They're always close by. I passed a bunch on the way here. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. Planet Fitness, you will experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free zone. Did you know that all Planet memberships also include fitness training for zero extra cost? That's awesome. Want all the perks? Upgrade to that PF Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card Spa, which features hydro massage, massage chairs, and total body enhancement, and more, along with access to 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness at www.planetfitness.com.
The countdown to kickoff is here. Your Detroit Lions are ready for another season of grit. Woodward Sports is your #1 destination for all breaking news and Lions coverage. We are Detroit's #1 sports network. We are Woodward Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody!
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, dreaming of a new home and feeling a financial pinch? Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White and Associates today, 248-290-8242. Visit them online as well at markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White today, 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
Also, Tom Masway, let me tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Awesome is when a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop in, sit back, relax. Let one of Lady Jane's talented stylists make you look and feel great. You could walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Yeah, honestly, we don't know where he's going to be. He's not going to be out there today. We probably won't have him tomorrow. And so it's looking less like we will have him in practice this week until Friday, getting ready for the Chiefs. And that's not a guarantee yet. Until, he obviously clears the concussion protocol, then we're on a hold with him. So that'll kind of play itself out. But, as you guys saw, there was some encouraging things in there. He was able to move the offense down the field. Man, he saw a couple of things, had a hot throw, did a good job on one of his progressions, kicking it back out to the back. Had a couple of runs there. So for the limited snaps that he was in there with a very limited package offensively, it was promising. But there's not a lot of reps, and we don't know until he's ready to go. We're on hold with him, really.
And that was Dan Campbell talking about Hendon Hooker, Lions backup quarterback, third-string quarterback, however you want to characterize where he is on the depth chart.
Second-year quarterback.
But he did go out in concussion protocol in the game against the Giants, did some nice things. For more on this and everything regarding your favorite football team, we bring in Eric Woodyard, ESPN Lions reporter. You can follow him on X at @E_Woodyard. Hey, Eric, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, Eric.
Yeah, what's up, man? How y'all doing?
Good, doing great. Let's start with the sexiest position in football, and that's the quarterback. You just heard Dan Campbell talking about Hendon Hooker. Nate Sudfeld was horrific.
Don't forget, he played with the scrubs,
right? Well, that's fine. No offense to Nate Sudfeld, but he couldn't do anything. What will this team do at quarterback? Will they bring somebody in? And what do you think the status of Hendon Hooker is, Eric?
Yeah, so I was the one that asked him that question yesterday, actually, about Hendon. And I think they probably will. I wouldn't be shocked if they picked up a backup quarterback at some point this week just to have, somebody to add some extra layer of security and not have to put all that pressure on Sudfeld for this, second preseason game. So I think that's probably going to be in the works, just adding that. Because, why rush Hendon back? He's coming off a big injury. That was his first taste of action since he had been in college and over – a full year, a couple years actually being on the field. So, definitely no reason to rush him back. Concussions, you never know how that's going to go. So, I think they're going to be smart and just add another layer of security by bringing in another guy in.
And Eric,
before this second preseason game.
No doubt. And when you look at Hendon Hooker and the way he played, he was playing like it was the Super Bowl. It was he was out there. He wasn't messing around. He was delivering a blow, which is great. But as Dan Campbell said after the game, I don't know if it was after the game or the next day, whenever he said it, he was like, this is great, but you got to learn how to slide a little bit. You got to learn how to preserve your body a little bit. You can't do that in the NFL a lot, for lack of a better way to say it. What did you make of Hendon Hooker's debut? Because, look, A lot of people around here believe he's the quarterback of the future, and if he's not, he's gonna get a high round draft pick somewhere from some team out there. What do you make of his debut and what he will learn from that?
I mean, it was a small sample size. We only saw it for that little quarter, that third quarter, but I thought it was very impressive. And all my life watching the Lions, I haven't seen a quarterback bring that type of dimension or skill set either. That ability to run, that size. So, yeah, I mean, he gives people a lot of reason to be excited. But, I mean, he does have to learn. I mean, you can't go around and play that style, as you did in college and the pros. But, I mean, you'll rather, him learn that than, some of the natural raw ability that he had. You can't help but get excited and to see that they can develop this guy into being a quarterback for the future. So it was pretty impressive in the small sample size that we did get him. And I know how hard he's worked. I talked to Hendon during camp, and everybody was just telling him, slow down, slow down. He was like a sponge out there, really just eager to play and eager to learn. So I think this guy's going to be somebody to watch in the future, and it's fun that he could just sit back and just learn. And, definitely got one of those things to learn and slide, for sure.
Eric, this is Anson here. We heard a couple things during OTAs where he had struggled, but we find out later on that he had a fractured finger. And by all accounts, this guy, like you just mentioned, he's soaking everything up. He's fully in, and we've seen a lot of growth here over the last month just from reports and then seeing him actually hit the field. How much did that fractured finger set him back?
I'm not sure. He hasn't talked a lot about it, so I don't think he wanted to make that excuse or not. And it's really difficult to say how much he could if he's not speaking on it. And, I mean, part of it was just probably him not playing as well either. So I think the fractured finger, yeah, but I think a lot of that was just rust, honestly, more than anything, from sitting there and watching him. Because sometimes he would have those dynamic plays, and then sometimes he would just look like completely off at times. So I think it was a little bit of both. No making excuses for the injury at all, but if a guy didn't mention it to it or say nothing to us about it, it's tough to really put that on an injury that we don't, know the magnitude of him or Dan or anybody else pretty soon.
Eric, it's Maz. Thanks again for joining us. We appreciate your work, man. You lose a lot. We use you all the time. We talk about all the stuff that you write about. What was your week like in Jersey? What was that whole Giants-Lions vibe that was going on? They got $200,000 fines. I mean, they were getting at each other. What did you take out of that whole week?
I didn't go to Jersey down there. I mean, we don't usually go to the preseason games, but I was talking to my coworkers and talking to a lot of people, and everybody who I spoke to, they said that the atmosphere and the intensity was absolutely crazy. I mean, 4 plays into, the joint practices, you saw the video that surfaced to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and, everybody just, the brawls that were going on, I heard it was just brawls. Every 2 to 3 plays, it was something going on. So I think that was just the Lions kind of showing, hey, we're not little brothers no more. We really coming out here and we trying to really establish ourselves as, the gritty Detroit Lions of the past. Just because everybody's projecting us to be, Super Bowl contenders, we still got to go out and actually do it. So I think, in a sense, it was the Lions just kind of planting their flag to say, hey, we're here to stay this year. Last year wasn't a fluke. So, yeah, it seemed like it was productive in that sense. But on the other sense, like Dan Campbell said yesterday, hey, we got to keep stopping plays and keep going over things, and it kind of didn't. The on-field, actually what they were there for to actually get better. In some ways, they weren't able to do everything they wanted to do because it was so much grittiness and so much chippy stuff going on.
Hey, they got the Chiefs coming up next. They play Kansas City on Saturday. What have you seen so far in camp? Any players stick out to you that you think that we should be looking forward to looking at?
Obviously, the starters, we know Amon-Ra St. Brown, the guy's, looking like a seasoned vet at this point, but some of the people to look out for, Levi. You should keep your eye on him. The rookies, Rakestraw. Looking at Terrion Arnold. Those are the guys I'm really looking at, especially in that secondary. If this team want to take it to the next level, so everybody else. I mean, we know what the St. Browns, we know what the Panay Sewells, we know what those guys are going to do. But I think it's some of those guys I just listed before, who's really been having some impact in training camp.
Hey, Eric, this is KG in the sound booth. Much respect for the work that you do, man. But I wanted to ask you if the Lions have a offensive line depth problem. Of course, you had injuries to Connor Galvin and Christian Mahogany. Also, they went out and signed Jamarco Jones over the weekend. Do you think there's a problem with the offensive line depth, or is it a nothing burger?
I mean, everybody we was just laughing about that. Like, if that's what we're going to really sit here and talk about the offensive line depth, then, I mean, that's not a horrible problem to have. But, no. I mean, I don't think it's the main guys can stay healthy. yeah, that sounds good on paper, having depth at every position and spot. But I think, that front five is so strong, man. I think I don't really think it's nothing to worry about. You're gonna have injuries, you're gonna have it happen, but I think you just adapt. And I mean, you trust in the system, you trust in the coaching, and I don't think that's really nothing to worry about.
I want to stick with the offensive side of the ball, Eric, and I want to ask you about Donovan Peoples-Jones. Interesting player, signed a one-year deal in the offseason. Many people, including myself, thought he'd be, quote-unquote, the third receiver or somewhere up there. He's playing deep into the third quarter, one catch in the preseason game. What has his camp been like? And is he a guy that is a surefire bet to make this team?
I don't think he's a surefire to make it, man. I think he has a good, he's coming with a good attitude. He understands the position he's in. But, I mean, Dan Campbell spoke about him as well during camp, and it's one of those guys that really got to step it up. He hasn't had the greatest camp, so I think he has to really continue to put in work, man. He has to really try to have a good game these next two games to really show why he needs to make this roster. So I think he's definitely not a lot. This team is loaded. They brought in a lot of other guys as well, so he's in a position where he's really fighting for a role.
Go ahead, Mass. Go ahead.
Eric Woodyard joins us, ESPN Lions beat writer. I wanted to ask you about beat reporter. Wanted to ask you about Sione Vaki. It's a guy that fourth-round pick. Guy used to be a defensive back. Now he's playing running back. What do you see this guy doing for this team? Will he be a kickoff punt guy? Is he going to? How much playing time do you think Vaki's going to get this year?
I think you're going to probably see him being used creatively. I mean, that's one of those guys, one of those Ben Johnson type picks where you might see him do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Kickoff, you might see him running. You might see everything. He's one of those weapons, those cheat codes that, Ben Johnson going to kind of have in his back pocket, and you might see him get used in anyway, man. I mean, that's just how that's what I see his role in this team.
What about the kicking situation
here,
boy. Eric? I mean, I know it does seem a little bit different this year with the new kickoff rules and everything like that.
I don't know if I like it.
Well, Jake Bates, he's got that big leg, but you need that accuracy to place that ball where you want it on the kickoff. Is this a situation where you could see Jack Fox be the kickoff kicker or anything like that? How's Jake Bates coming along with the Lions?
He's been Bates been up and down, man. He had a day where he was, just being frank, man, where he was terrible one of the days. Then he had a decent day yesterday where he ended the, practice with a 60-some yard kick. So I think it's just been up and down. And I think, they're definitely trying to be patient with him because, I mean, he's, making a big jump to the NFL. But, yeah, it's one of those situations where they're going to try some things out. I wouldn't be surprised if they even brought somebody else in at some point. But he's been very up and down. I think that's just growing pains of him trying to adjust to the league.
And Eric, I wanted to ask you, with all the injuries occurring on this team, should we expect to see the starters at all during this preseason run?
At this point, I mean, they got joint practice scheduled. You see how aggressive and that was, losing guys. Why even risk it? I know Dan Campbell said he would think about playing the starters, but me personally, I wouldn't risk it at all. It's not worth it. I mean, you want to see wins when it matters, and you don't want to put your guys out there and put them in harm's way. So, no, I wouldn't do it at all. I really wouldn't.
It's an interesting conversation because, and I don't know if they're going to play this game, but Mahomes and the starters played, the first quarter in that first game. It is interesting how these joint practices have really kind of changed the way preseason games are played because the practice is where most of these guys get their reps now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's smart, though. You put them out there in practice, you're getting more reps, you're getting more what you want to see, positioning and things like that, not just, preseason games. So I think it's definitely smart, man. I mean, and, looking forward, you got to look at how the league even approaches preseason. I mean, I know it's a money business and everything, but, I mean, when you got these joint practices, that's definitely more useful in a lot of ways.
Hey, Eric, I want to jump to the other side of the ball and ask you about the rookie defensive backs. Ennis Rakestraw, Terrion Arnold, really good showings from those two players quickly. How soon do you think those players can just kind of hit the ground running where they're just playing football and reacting instead of, like, thinking about where they're supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to be doing? The NFL game is fast, but these rookies look like they're picking it up like nothing. I mean, they look, I don't want to say great out there, but relatively speaking, you know what I'm trying to get at. They look really good.
Yeah. mean, you don't pick, two defensive backs with your first 2 picks if you don't think they can come in and play right away. So I think Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes and those guys were confident these guys can come in and play right away. So I think that's the expectation. If they get out on the field, I think the expectation of them for those guys is to contribute right away. And they've shown, through training camp, through the little limited action of preseason that we saw, that they're capable of doing that. So I don't think it'll take long. I mean, we saw last year with Laporta and what Gibbs and those guys were able to do. I don't really see – I'm not saying they're Pro Bowl guys right away, but, I mean, who knows? I mean, I think the expectation is for those guys to come in and pick it up and play, right away, because that was one of the biggest holes of this team was the secondary. So that's why you get those guys. And, it's not like they're coming in and just, hey, take it. No, we need y'all right now. We're trying to win a Super Bowl. And if you guys get on the field, I mean, you need to come in and learn how to play and learn to play on this level. And I think so far both guys have showed that confidence, that swagger, that they're ready to go. You see Rakestraw, he got the first pick, in training camp and had a great, phenomenal week where he had 3 or 4 picks in a week. And I think, we see with Terry Arnold, we saw what he did in college. And I think those guys are ready to go.
The Woodyard on Woodward. I'm gonna stay here on the defensive side of the ball. We've added a lot to our secondary, as you just mentioned. We've added a lot to our defensive line. We got Levi looking really, really good. One position or a team that we did not pay a lot of attention to was the linebacking core. Myself, I think that Jack Campbell is a huge, huge part of what could be a top 10 defense if these, obviously, all these other guys we just mentioned are hitting and playing pretty well. What have you seen out of Jack this summer? I haven't read a lot on him. Is he the guy in the middle? Is he the Mike? Is he calling the plays? Have you seen the growth out of him that we kind of saw in the last month of the season last year?
I think he's been a lot more vocal, and it seems like he's much more comfortable. I mean, like I said, I still want to see more, but just from how I'm looking at him and seeing him, he's looking a lot more comfortable in that position. But I mean, again, man, I want to see some real football, see some real action, but I think he's poised enough to take that jump of what they need. And I think that's why they picked him so high last year. I mean, he didn't have a terrible season, but he just didn't have a game-changing season. So I think he's more than capable of it, but I'm with you. I haven't saw as much that I want to see to really know will he take that leap or take that jump. But yeah, I think he's more confident. He seems like he's ready to take on that role. And the coaching staff is, I'll tell you this, they're extremely confident that he can, take over that slot and really, really emerge as the guy they want him to be.
Follow him on X. Follow him on social media at @E_Woodyard, ESPN Lions beat reporter, the great Eric Woodyard. Thanks so much, my friend.
Thanks,
We're
Eric.
fans of your work. You do great stuff there. We appreciate your time here at Woodward Sports.
Appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.
Thanks,
you got
Nick.
it.
Thanks,
You
Eric.
got it. Eric's a great follow on X as well. Gets you the latest Lions news. I think that's fantastic stuff. And yeah, I mean, obviously, I think there's a concern, just getting back to the quarterback position about Hendon Hooker and in the way I was very encouraged by how he played.
Yeah.
It still felt like there was a long way to go. And I think when you haven't played football in a year, I think to be out there on that football field gives you a crap ton of adrenaline. And when he was delivering blows out there, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's just putting his head down. But that's enough now.
Learn to slack here.
That's enough now.
Yeah.
I don't need to see that anymore. Just go down, especially in the preseason. But you don't want to coach the aggressiveness out of the kid either.
Right.
No.
You know what I mean? That's
They
why
haven't got a guy like that since what? Andre Ware
Right.
back in the day?
Well, Andre Ware wasn't
didn't have
as
the arm.
good,
Right.
I mean, Hendon Hooker is
But he was a mobile quarterback.
Hendon
is what I
Hooker.
mean.
Hendon Hooker's kind of a pocket passer.
Don't
You
forget
don't
about
let
Mike McMahon now.
Don't let his wheels though. Just because Hendon Hooker gets out of the pocket and can run,
Yeah.
don't let him fool you.
Yeah.
He is a pocket passer. I'd like to see him stay in the pocket a little bit more. But again, it's one game. He hasn't played football in a year. The adrenaline had to have been going.
There's a guy that I would love to see here.
Ryan Tannehill.
No. Taylor,
Please.
who was the former Raven quarterback that won him a playoff?
Oh, Taylor Heineke.
Taylor Hand.
No. Taylor,
Heineke.
not Heineke.
Oh.
Played for the Ravens. Now he's with the Browns.
Oh,
He won a playoff game.
Tyrus Taylor?
Tyrod Taylor?
Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor.
No.
No.
He's with the Browns.
Yes, he's with the Browns. He's fighting to be the
Flacco?
backup quarterback, and he might not even make Tyler Huntley.
Oh, Tyler Huntley.
Tyler Huntley.
I forgot about him.
I love this kid. Loved him. He was with the Ravens. Now he's with the Cleveland Browns.
Well, Jameis Winston is going to be the
right. I would like to see Tyler Huntley be the backup quarterback here in Detroit, and Hendon Hooker learn the ropes as the number 3 guy. I'm talking about a guy that won a playoff game as a backup quarterback.
Well, I think one of the things we've seen too, Anson, is that if Jared Goff goes down, this team's in real trouble unless they do something. And even if Hooker does come back, I don't know if he's ready yet. I'd be lying to tell you that this kid is ready to lead a team to a Super Bowl victory. Now that might happen in 3 months from now or 4 months from now, in maybe in November, like after 3 months of the season, maybe. But man, if something happened tomorrow to Goff, his team would be in real trouble. I don't think they can get to November without a viable backup. I think Hooker needs to be on the field in practice, working with these guys, practicing with these guys before he's ready. He looked good. There's a lot of promise, but I don't know if he's ready to step in game 1 and be that guy.
Well, Anthony Richardson.
I don't know if he is.
Is he as good? Let's say he wasn't injured. Would he have been as highly sought after as an Anthony Richardson?
But he
Top 5 pick.
But again, yes, but he was injured. And again, it's go back to insert Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
Now it's a little bit different because Deshaun Watson has gone years without playing. But if you don't play football for a year to get your timing down, to get your footwork down, to get your arm strength ready, and it is a total process.
Yeah, to both of your guys' points, you brought up Ryan Tannehill, you brought up Tyler Huntley. I don't think that Hendon Hooker, despite having the ability to, is emotionally mature enough as a quarterback in this league to take over a team with Super Bowl aspirations. However, I would prefer somebody like Tannehill that is a poor man's Jared Goff than a mobile quarterback that this offense is not used to seeing.
Yeah, Tannehill sucks too.
Well, he does,
but at least
he's long in the tooth.
But at least he could get you to November.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not worried about Hooker at the end of the season. I'm worried about today until January.
Yep.
September and October. That's what I'm worried about.
Yep.
The first 8 games. And you can get buried in those 8 games. And again, heaven forbid something happened to Goff. But I'm worried about September and October. Once you get to November, I do think Hendon Hooker can be that guy.
I think Tannehill would look pretty sharp with this offense surrounding him. He's not had a lot of pieces at Tennessee. I'm not singing high praise for him. But a quarterback like him makes a hell of a lot more sense than Nate Sudfeld. The way that he looked was terrible. That's a guy that I think just kind of comes in here and can play that carbon copy, middle class, poor man's Goff. And that's what this offense needs, is somebody that would bring in the stability and structure of a real arm talent versus a guy that's going to be scrambling.
I want to stick up a little for Nate Sudfeld. Just a little.
Oh, God.
Why would he be on this team with this talent of coaching staff if they didn't really think that he could play? Don't forget, he's playing with guys that are trying out for the team. So he wouldn't be here, especially injured last year. They kept him. They held on to him. So maybe he's not as bad as we all think he is.
I think that's one of those things, Maz, too, where you look at cost, and he was here, you're right. They don't believe Goff is in any sort of peril.
Right.
Yeah.
And they do have Hooker. So it's like when you don't have to pay a guy, when you don't have to teach a guy, he can come in and be a camp arm, because I do think they believe in Hooker, and I do believe they believe Hooker will be the backup quarterback.
Yeah.
That's a cheap camp arm that you don't have to really coach.
Right.
He knows he's been here. He knows it.
And also, speaking with Broder, it's also that Goff really feels comfortable with Sudfeld, like holding the clipboard and things of that nature. They work really well together as far as like identifying plays and stuff like that. So I think that's really the main reason why they keep him on the roster. I don't necessarily think it's because of his talent.
Don't forget, they carried David Blau for how many years?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, so we'll take a break. When we come back, I'll tell you the rookie quarterback that was wowing the NFL world this weekend. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Dr. Pierce.
All right, Dr. Pierce. We'll see him in just a couple of days from now. That's right. Do not miss our expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. He joins Big D Energy every Tuesday. He's with us on Thursdays. Dr. Pierce is here to keep you in the game, performing at your best. Trust the guy at DMAC and Braylon Trust. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. And, of course, you can head on over to the best pet store in Michigan. Hands down, Michigan's best pet store. It's PremierPetSupply.com, family-owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available, curbside delivery, and, of course, they have nutritionists on call. Give your pet the best. Don't settle for less. It's PremierPetSupply.com.
The countdown to kickoff is here. Your Detroit Lions are ready for another season of grit. Woodward Sports is your #1 destination for all breaking news and Lions coverage. We are Detroit's #1 sports network. We are Woodward Sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Any Lady Jane's haircuts for men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's haircuts for men, it's wicked awesome.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking, and the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
You know what else smells good? Soroki's crispy chicken and pizza, because it's taken over Michigan. They're known for their quality hand-battered and hand-breaded chicken tender sandwiches and New York-style pizza. Oh, and KG?
What?
They're known for those honey biscuits.
Shut your mouth.
They are fire. Wow. Locations are popping up all over Metro Detroit, doubling the number of their restaurants over the last year, in fact. Soroki's just had their grand opening, their newest location in Madison Heights. Make sure you stop in and try a mega station near you, or go to www.sorokis.com.
And don't forget, you head on over to Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. What happens when you run a great dealership for over 50 years? You expand. So what Les Stanford did by adding the Buick GMC brands. Les Stanford Buick GMC, located in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. And if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want, all 4 GM brands under one umbrella: Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com. Together,
let's drive,
baby. Anson Wells in for Braylon Edwards today. Braylon will be back tomorrow. Tom Mazaway is back. So is KG and Pete Spivak. All here talking a little NFL. Hour number 2 of the program.
Already?
There's another guy who's back. He's your boy, just in a new uniform. JJ.
I'm telling you, man, when you look at these rookie quarterbacks over the weekend, and again, it's the preseason, so I don't want to go too crazy.
Yeah.
There was no performance better than J.J. McCarthy.
Wow.
Comes in, throws the interception, fine, but then 3rd down, 4th down, 2 long deep balls out.
Dimes.
Like, he looked fantastic. And before anybody poo-poos J.J. McCarthy, I want to ask you Lions fans one question. If Hendon Hooker looked like this against the Giants, you would be ready to throw Jared Goff to the trash.
Oh, man, don't start it.
Don't
do it, Ryan.
No. I'm just saying. This performance for Hendon Hooker, Lions fans would have thrown Jared Goff out of the building.
Especially if he played for Michigan.
They would no. What I'm saying is, take J.J. McCarthy and make him Hendon Hooker.
Okay.
If Hendon Hooker did this, Lions fans would be going crazy today. Flat out crazy. Made every throw, made every pass. Like I said, incredible performance from J.J. McCarthy.
That's good, Pete.
Further leading me to believe that he will, in fact, be the best rookie quarterback in this class when it's all said and done. And I don't think he's going to start QB1 when the season starts. But after the bye week and after Minnesota is 0-5 or 1-5, he will get the start against the Detroit Lions after the bye.
Yeah, that was my next question, is how many games do you think that Sam Darnold starts? But if this kid continues to play like this, there's absolutely zero reason for him not to be starting week 1. I've been on record. You can check my Twitter. Jane Daniels, number 1. J.J. McCarthy, number 2. I like them both better than Caleb Williams.
Jaden Daniels, one series, led a touchdown drive against the New York Jets. They were playing a couple of their starters as well. I mean, he looked really good too.
Yeah,
Jaden Daniels
was able to finish a touchdown with his feet, threw a big bomb down the field. I mean, just pinpoint accuracy all around. I mean, we can continue to talk about Bo Nix's effort. Caleb Williams looked really good. Joe Milton might be causing a quarterback controversy in New England.
Man.
And if you consider Hendon Hooker a rookie, which you pretty much should,
yes,
you can put him into the batch of 5-6 young quarterbacks that have to have everyone excited.
Minnesota opens the season at the Giants, okay? Then they go San Francisco, Houston, at Green Bay, and the Jets.
Woo! That's a gauntlet.
Let Sam Darnold take his lumps. Then they've got a bye, and then they play the Lions.
The Lions and the Vikings with the early buys. That is a terrible buy, week 5.
But again,
it is what it is.
I think the performance by JJ was the story of the weekend when it comes to rookie quarterbacks. Now, he played.
Bo Nix played well, like we said.
Bo Nix played well, for sure.
That, though.
But again, I'm telling you, this kid is everything you could want in a quarterback. I've said it for years, and he looks the part, man.
I think
he
the
just
Giants,
looks like
when it comes down to it,
they're gonna
rue the day
that
they. I know Malik Neighbors is going to be a stud, and he did get hurt over the weekend. We'll talk about that, but they passed up a guy that I think really would have helped them, and they spent a lot of time with him, which I don't get, because the kid in interviews probably kills it on tests, on all the stuff that the NFL puts you through, kills it. But you know what? He didn't throw enough in college, I guess, to impress him. And the Vikings lucked out.
You know who knows something about football? You know who knows something about
Jim
quarterbacks?
Harbaugh?
Jim Harbaugh.
Him. But you know who else?
Who?
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you saw how confident Justin Jefferson was mic'd up in that game on Saturday, that says to me that player loves the quarterback. that player loves what he sees in Minnesota at quarterback. I'll take Justin. Don't take my word for it. Don't forget about what I say. Just go look at the highest paid receiver in the NFL, and you tell me if that looks like a player that doesn't like his quarterback or not.
Yeah, and we do need to see it against actual NFL ones. But, I mean, 11 of 17, 188 yards, and those 2 touchdown passes were some of the best throws I have seen from this kid. And like I said earlier on the morning show, he struggles with the same things that he struggled with at Michigan. You know, the short routes, the out routes, he lacks touch a little bit, but he has a cannon for an arm. He has a great deep ball, and he has all the tools that modern day, you know, NFL quarterbacks that they want you to have. He can get out the pocket. He can survey the field, deliver a dime downfield. He's got everything that you want. So I feel like if they were to let him marinate for a year, I feel like he will be a better quarterback for that. I'm not sure if he's ready to just be thrown in year one, but with a year or maybe a year or 2 of sitting on the bench and actually learning the NFL game, we could be looking at another Jordan Love, folks.
He gets in at the halfway point of the season. I totally agree with you, Rye, that he gets in. I don't know about after the bye, but I believe he will finish this Viking season up as the starting quarterback.
He's too good not to. And again, I just for anybody that thinks that he's not a good quarterback or he can't throw the deep ball or whatever you hate him because you know, I know Connor Stallions taught him how to throw the deep pass like that, and I understand that. But for anybody that wants to poo-poo this performance, I'm telling you, if Hendon Hooker played like that, you would want Hendon Hooker to, A, be traded for 2 first-round picks, or you would want him to supplant Jared Goff as a starting quarterback.
I just have a better angle of your touchdown pass. There you go.
No, I mean,
look at this.
This is a
look at that. Look at that.
You know,
Man.
one of my favorite things during that game was watching Twitter. And I got to call out OSU fan, and I got to call out my own Spartan fans. Everyone hopped on that interception. Oh, your quarterback of the future. Well, that tweet aged very poorly.
Yeah.
Because he made a mistake, but then he came back, put up 118 quarterback rating, 2 touchdowns. To me, he looks like a polished Josh Allen. I know he's not quite as big, and he might not quite have the downfield big ball, but he plays very similarly, but I felt like he was under control. And what we've watched from this kid come up and should he play or should Cade play, and then taking the reins in Michigan and then taking them to a national championship, I watched Drake May regress as a passer. I watched Caleb Williams regress as a runner and passer. This kid has only gotten better. He's faced all kinds of adversity, and what we're seeing out of him right now is a very quick growth as the Minnesota Vikings quarterback. I'm going to go on record right now and say I think he starts week 1.
Oh, wow.
I don't think you're wrong about. I don't know if I want to go there yet, but I am coming to that side.
If you're a Minnesota Vikings fan, are you going to stand for Sam Darnold under center week 1?
Especially in a game against the Giants. Are you trying to lose?
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like that might be your only opportunity to win a football game for the first month.
Yeah. They're not hosting the Lions week 1.
Oh no,
the Giants. That's basically preseason game 4.
Don't forget Kevin O'Connell, former quarterback coach, now the head coach. He's a smart guy, man. He's the guy. It's a perfect spot for where he is. I know Brian Dable would have been a great spot for JJ as well, but he landed in Minnesota. That's a good team. Yeah. That's a team that is every year knocking on the door, getting into playoffs. You know, they don't win a lot of games in the playoffs, but they might be on the precipice of being pretty damn good. That division is going to be the best in football before you know it.
Hey, Ryan, here's your quote from Justin Jefferson.
I'm very impressed at how he's been coming along this whole training camp, Jefferson said of McCarthy. I think he's been doing a great job just trying to be the player that he is and trying to learn how to become a part of this system and become a top-tier quarterback. And again, here's where Caleb Williams falls short to no fault of his own. J.J. McCarthy has Kevin O'Connell. Bo Nix has Sean Payton. Jaden Daniels has Cliff Kingsbury. Caleb Caleb Williams has
Matt Eberflus.
Matt Eberflus, who, and again, I now am going to do something I rarely do. I'm going to totally flip. I watched Hard Knocks. I am a fan of Matt Eberflus, and I'm a fan of Caleb Williams.
Ooh.
I'm rooting for the kid. I think he's a good kid. I think Matt Eberflus is a good guy. To bring in Nick Saban, who was his head coach at Toledo. Matt Eberflus played at Toledo. Saban was the head coach at Toledo. Brings in Nick Saban, which, by the way, I wish more coaches would do that. And I don't know, maybe they do, maybe they don't. We just don't see it. But the fact that Matt Eberflus says, oh, my God, I have access to this great all-time coach, and he brings him into the Chicago Bears facility in Lake Forest, and he's sitting there with a notepad taking notes from what the guy says. I root for people like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I root for people like
He kept that team together, and he earned to keep his job when everyone was after him last year.
You know, and again, like how to coach a great quarterback like that. And Saban was giving him, help. He was telling him what to do. He wants to see what he sees. And I do think I root for Caleb Williams now. Because he's a good guy, I want to root for him. And he's trying real hard. I cannot root against him.
I don't root for him. You know why?
Because he plays for the Bears.
Thank
I know.
you.
But again, when you're the Lions and we don't need other teams' help. Like, I believe we are so good that we can take care of our own business.
Facts.
So, in that case, if the Bears are playing the Broncos one, like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I hope the Bears lose because they're playing the Broncos. I'll just believe that the Lions, my team, is doing their own job.
We'll still root against them.
And by fact that he plays for the Bears.
Yeah.
But I'm rooting for him. Like, if they lose, but he plays well, I wouldn't hate it.
So nitpicking between the four, I want to exclude Joe Milton and Hendon Hooker as well. If you watch the games over the weekend, you hopefully got a chance to see Jaden. You got a chance to see Bo Nix. Got a chance to see JJ. I'm sure most of you here in Detroit got a chance to see that. And you got a chance to see Caleb as well. I watched every single drop back and snap from each one of those four quarterbacks because I've been pretty hard on record and pretty hard on Caleb Williams. Personally, the throws that he made that everybody was getting excited about, I saw 2 picks against first-team defenses.
Right.
What I saw out of Bo Nix was exactly what he was in Oregon, a guy that doesn't make mistakes and a pure gamer. What I saw out of Jaden Daniels was more examples of the best sleight of hand ball skill quarterback I've seen come out since Patrick Mahomes. Wow. JJ just did so many things well. Mm-hmm. He faced adversity and came back from it. Led 2 scoring drives. Ran the ball. Was able to get rid of the ball. Was able to throw the ball. Was able to move the chains on both 3rd and 4th down. Caleb, as good as he looked and as excited people were to jump on him being the future in Chicago, I saw some holes in his game. I'm not sure how much of those 4 you guys got to see, but I'd love to hear who you like the most.
I watched Caleb. I saw a little bit of Jaden Daniels because they kept going back and forth on NFL Network. I'm not sure why they did that, if it's an NFL Plus situation, but they did a nice job, NFL Network, over the weekend. I thought Caleb looked really good. And he's got the best offensive cast. I mean, DeAndre Swift looked good. Yeah. Keenan Allen was in the
Pick
DJ
your poison
Moore.
wide receivers.
I mean, it's like,
for real.
Rome Odunze. I mean,
He's insulated.
Right? I mean, there's a lot to work with in Chicago.
And even
for
Cole
sure.
Kmet's solid.
Absolutely. So we'll just have to wait and see. But quarterbacks are, man, if you suck at quarterback, for lack of a better way to say it, there's 6 guys coming next year that, I think 6 is going to be the minimum now of guys that you see be first-round picks. 5, I'll say 5. I'll go 5 first-round picks at quarterback every year.
I agree.
Out of 32, because quarterbacks in college are just so dynamic now.
There's 3 that we can pencil in right now, in Carson, Shador, and now I'm blanking on
Ewers?
Yes, Quinn Ewers out of Texas. Those 3 guys are going to be first-rounders, period.
Yeah.
But last season,
and then there's a kid at there's a kid at Fresno State. There's a kid at Iowa State. Those 5 right there.
Bam.
5 quarterbacks right there.
Yeah, they're taking quarterbacks because everyone is looking for that Super Bowl winning quarterback. Everyone's looking for a Joe Burrow. Everyone is, of course, looking for a Patrick Mahomes. He's a 1 in a million shot, though. But, yeah, bro, it's a quarterback-driven league. And like we said, quarterbacks are going to have their own salary cap within the next 2 seasons. They're going to have their own salary cap because they are how you win an NFL Super Bowl. That's it. Without a quarterback, you'll have a very small window to win one.
No
sure,
doubt.
they've been in the past, but that's shrinking quickly.
No doubt. Guys, what do you want to do next? You want to do Michigan Harbaugh or you want to do NFL? Go around
Whatever
the
you
NFL.
want. I got everything you need.
We're trying to. What do you guys want? Let us know in the chat. You guys let us know. Do you want Michigan or do you want?
I do have
NFL?
some breaking news in a weird way
Please.
because Hassan Reddick has requested a trade from the New York Jets. Well, the Jets just came out with a statement, and here it is. If you want to read that.
We have informed Hassan that we will not trade him, and that he's expected to be here with his teammates, and that he will continue to be fined per the CBA if he does not report. Since the trade discussions back in March, we have been clear, direct, and consistent with our position. Our focus will remain on the guys we have here as we prepare on the regular season. That's Joe Douglas.
He owes over $1 million already in fines.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep.
It is what it is.
They'll waive
So I
that
just
when
wanted
they
to throw that
sign
in
his new contract.
All right. First couple guys in here want to go around the NFL next, so that's what we'll do. Thanks to Caden, Dante, Just a Fan, Zach, all that and more. We've got it. NFL around it next.
And what happens when you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house? It tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Let Garden Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. This technology has been proven to work, and these people have been proven to care. So call 1-800. That's 1-800. Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you, Kenny G.
Yeah, the best morning show, period, man. You can't tell me no different. Woodward Sports every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. It's Wake Up Woodward, man. Join Kool-Aid, Flannel Sam, Broder, JB, and myself every morning as we cover all of Detroit sports talk, banter, and live fan interaction. But you can only see that on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woo crew.
The countdown to kickoff is here. Your Detroit Lions are ready for another season of grit. Woodward Sports is your #1 destination for all breaking news and Lions coverage. We are Detroit's #1 sports network. We are Woodward Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
Oh, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
The Allied Challenge presented by McLaren is back. August 22nd through the 25th at our very own Warwick Hills here in Metro Detroit. Leave the golf to the pros and don't miss the party at the 17th hole. $2 birdie beers, concerts, and a whole lot more. Get your tickets at alliedchallenge.com. Brought to you by the fine people at Randy Wise Automotive.
And don't forget our friends at KDK Law. They've got your back dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, other family law issues. Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham will have your back. 10-plus years of experience and 24/7 availability. Scan the QR code on your screen or call 248-971-0476. You might not need that number today, but you might need it in the future. So plug it in your phone, 248-971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you, and KDK will pay your filing fee. KDK Law, they've got your back. Hey, welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Time now to go around the NFL. Anson Wells, Ryan Ermanni, Tom Mazaway in the house. Braylon is out. He'll be back tomorrow. Tom, let's go around the NFL, shall we?
We shall, man. It's coming, man. 4 Sundays away from the regular season. Obviously, more a little bit. We'll have that Thursday night game before the Sunday game, man. It's right there, man. And to watch these preseason games, you don't see anything like you used to anymore. You're seeing all these guys trying to make the club. You're not seeing the starters very often. So I'm really looking forward to Week 1 schedule. And that takes me to another guy that's holding out in Dallas. His name is CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb. And they asked Jerry Jones, hey, Jerry, what's up with CeeDee Lamb? And Jerry Jones is saying this, right?
CeeDee, you're missed, okay? But you're not missed out here competing, and your absence doesn't put any pressure on any place on us. That's Jerry Jones talking about CeeDee Lamb's ongoing contract holdout. CeeDee Lamb quote tweeted that saying LOL. And then Jerry Jones has responded and saying, well, we'd love to have you, CeeDee, and all this stuff. But back and forth through social media. Look, when you are in a position of strength, you can do stuff like this. CeeDee Lamb is in a position of strength. Brandon Ayuk is not.
True.
It's just the way it is. You know, CeeDee Lamb, if Dallas doesn't have CeeDee Lamb, they don't win 6 games this year.
Facts.
If Ayuk doesn't play for the 49ers, they could win the Super Bowl.
Sure. Absolutely.
It just is what it is.
Yes.
It is what it is.
But can you imagine? I'm sorry, go ahead, Anson.
Ricky Pearsall can step into that situation real quick for
He got hurt last week, but he should be okay.
Okay.
But can you imagine, this is the owner and the general manager, can you imagine Sheila Hamp or Brad Holmes coming out on social media and saying that about, let's say, Amon-Ra St. Brown?
But there is, now, are you guys into conspiracy theories?
No. Yes. What is it? I like it.
Okay.
Yes.
One of the conspiracy theories this year with the Dallas Cowboys is that Jerry wants to tank so he can get Shedeur Sanders. He loves Shedeur Sanders. He just loves Shedeur Sanders.
No
and
way
wants
they
to
tanking
do
that bad.
Anything possible to get Shedeur and make Shedeur as the quarterback.
Wow.
And now, I don't know if Jerry at his age should be tanking anything. And I don't know if I buy that because you can do anything you want these days. You can trade the next 10 first-round picks if you want to move up. You know what I mean? You can do whatever you want to do. But that's the word on the street is that Jerry is going to do anything he can to get Shedeur Sanders to be the quarterback.
That sounds exactly like his tweet, the ramblings of an old man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because you're still in your window. Dak Prescott was arguably the best quarterback in the league last year. Now, I think we all share the opinion that that team is ready to fall, that they're primed for a 9-8, barely miss the playoff type of season.
Yeah.
But they're still squarely in the mix. Why are you throwing salt onto an open wound right now? That's not only going to not inspire CD to sign, but it's going to really upset your fan base as well.
Hell yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't understand Jerry. I never really did. And here he is. What's he have, like a 25-part series?
Yeah, you'll have 10
Netflix?
episodes to learn all about him.
I mean, come on, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. He's in the Hall of Fame. I don't even get that, to be perfectly honest with you.
And to be honest with you, I mean, again, the Dallas Cowboys have not even made it to the NFC Championship game since '95.
Yeah. We're going on 30 years.
NFC champion. You talk about the Lions not winning a playoff game since '91 or whatever. The Cowboys, America's team, haven't made it, not won it, haven't even made it to the NFC Championship game since '95.
Last Super Bowl 30.
You would have never known that.
Yeah.
You would have never known that. You would think they play in the NFC Championship game twice every 5 years.
You're right. Hey, what do you guys think of the Guardian cap that the players are wearing for safety on their heads? Because Jonathan Taylor and several other Colts wore them in their game this past weekend. Now, Jonathan Taylor's, check it out. You can see the video. That's A-Rich there. But he said he's trying it out. He don't know what he's going to do yet. It's not let's face it, it's not very aesthetically good looking.
It don't look horrible.
It looks like a big fat helmet with like a rag on top of it. Like I don't know. Do you think we're going to see a lot of players wearing these?
Yes, I do. And then ultimately, I think every player will wear this.
Then they got to change the helmet completely.
If not this year, then next year, and they will. They will change the helmet. I think every player is going to be required to wear it within the next 2 or 3 years. It's just the way football is going, and aesthetic or not. From last year's puke brown or diarrhea brown to this year, the advancement in the aesthetics of it have already improved. Wait 2 or 3 years, and it will be even greater. Far be it from me to tell some player out there that I don't like the way it looks.
Right.
When he's getting his dome, his bell rung, in a car crash 80 times a game, 60 times a game.
If anyone should wear them, it should be the old lineman.
Yeah.
Right.
Every offensive lineman should wear that helmet.
I mean, my goodness. It's just, and you saw what happened to Hooker. Hooker's playing today if he's wearing a Guardian cap.
Yeah, he should be
probably.
wearing one.
But are you leading with your head if you have a Guardian cap on? Probably more. Probably more.
Probably.
Maybe. And they don't want that.
It might even put some violence back into the game, to be honest with you. If the head's protected. If the head is protected, it might even put a little bit more violence in the game.
This reminds me of when men started wearing capri pants, man-prees.
Oh, God.
And for a year, they took a beating. But now look at everybody, what they're wearing. They're wearing man-prees or the short, tight sweatpants.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Ryan. This is the future that we're seeing right now. Ugly, the black-brown look like the inside of a sound studio on the outside of the hat.
Man.
But now you see the little pillowcase that they put over it.
Go back to the 90s and watch Mark Kelso for the Buffalo Bills.
Same thing.
That was a better looking helmet, and he had protection. So they'll probably go to something like that. Malik Neighbors sprained his ankle the other day. They thought it was really a bad injury. And if you're a Giant fan and you hear Malik Neighbors had to take his shoe off and he's limping and he's on the sidelines, turns out he did interviews after that. It's just a sprained ankle, they're calling it, but it's something to watch for a guy that they really have put a lot of stock into.
Stud.
And apparently there's reports out there that the Arizona Cardinals are already regretting taking Marvin Harrison over Malik Neighbors.
Wow.
That's how good they feel about Malik Neighbors. And Marvin Harrison is just, I don't want to say, I'm just paraphrasing here, not the killer instinct player they thought they were getting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And in practice.
Yeah, in practice.
Who has been on record all season telling you Malik Neighbors is the best wide receiver in this draft? And we're seeing it.
And if you watched Hard Knocks offseason, and again, if you haven't, you should.
With the Giants.
It was fantastic, except the last episode was pretty.
The Bears or the
bad.
Giants?
The Giants. The
In
off-season. Off-season.
In-season in Chicago.
In-season. Training camp. Hard Knocks training camp is Chicago.
Yeah, you're right.
Hard Knocks in season is with the entire division of the AFC North.
That'll be fun.
But in off-season, one of the things that Dayball and what's his name?
Joe Shane
said is just what a dog Neighbors was and how pissed he gets if he doesn't get the ball. And that's great. Like, I do think you want that in a player, right?
Yeah.
So
hopefully he stays healthy. It'll be fun to watch him in the NFL.
It will be.
And if the Giants winning, it's better for the NFL if the Giants are playing well.
I don't think it matters in the NFL.
No.
I really don't. If you look at the Lions, how good was that for the NFL?
Great.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
but they were a nothing.
I know.
Talking about that's a Cinderella team.
Right.
The Giants are a historic franchise.
Yeah.
The Lions were historic in the
Right.
50s, and then they've been nothing since.
As a fan of both teams, having watched both of those Hard Knocks, Maz,
Yeah.
we kind of talked about this last time I saw you. The
Lions.
relationship between Joe Shane and Brian Daboll, I don't think that they would be together right now if their wives weren't best friends. Because Shane is just that guy who's trying to drop cool, trendy words and things.
Yeah.
And Daboll just is looking at him like, you're a nerd, you're an idiot.
Right.
Watching them in the draft room,
Yes.
if you compare the energy of those two versus the energy of our two,
right.
I'm watching that Giants Hard Knocks, and I'm thinking it's the Patricia Lions.
Yeah.
Like, those two are not going to be together for a long time. I feel bad for Malik Neighbors having to go there. We talked about Daboll sitting at the very end of this couch with his feet up on the table directly in front of Roma Dunson while he's there for an interview. I was embarrassed for Giants fans.
I was too. And then, so I actually took a picture of that. And Matt, I was going to tweet it out, and I was like, oh, screw it. I don't want to even deal with it. And then Matt says, did you see Daboll put his feet up? And I texted him the picture I have. It's just a complete level of disrespect for the player.
I hated it.
And then
your first rounder, too, not a seventh rounder.
And then 10 minutes later, he's got his feet up talking to the owner.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Mara was in John Mara is in the same spot that Malik Neighbors was. And Daboll has his feet up talking to the owner.
And that was chubby Daboll. That's not even skinny Daboll.
Talking about complete disrespect.
He's doing his best Monty impression.
At least he's
there.
disrespected everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, what happens if you're released by the worst team in the league? And I'm going to call that the Patriots. Is your career over?
Pretty much.
I think so.
They released Juju Smith-Schuster.
What happened to that guy?
It's over for him.
He fell off a cliff, this kid. He's gone. So I don't know who's going to sign him or his career's over. Maybe he heads to CFL. I have no idea.
Did he fall off a cliff or fall off the crates? Because ever since the crate challenge, he has not been the same player, man.
I don't know what happened to him other than, he went in Pittsburgh, he's like a third option.
Yeah.
And then he was the option and was totally exposed. So many guys in this league, if they're a three, they're a three. If you make him a two, heaven forbid a one, you get exposed.
Yeah,
and he's probably a three somewhere on a bad team.
I don't even know if he's a
three
at this point.
Here's an injury I'm going to give you guys that I probably.
Hey, can I just quickly?
Nobody has heard of this injury.
Do you
except
mind?
Dr. Pierce,
just
maybe.
Quickly, I saw New England, and Anson mentioned this a little while ago.
Milton?
I think New England's got a problem on their hands.
They do.
They've got a Kirk Cousins RG3 situation over there because Milton is completely outplaying Joe Milton is completely outplaying Drake May over there.
Yeah.
And I mean That is an incredibly tough spot if you're New England. You got the number 3 overall pick, and the trade that you could have gotten.
Wow. With the Giants.
For that 3 pick. Yep. And still taking Milton.
Yep.
If you did your homework, it is franchise altering. Or you could have taken JJ, in the spot where you trade back from as well. So that's something to keep an eye on.
Did you see Daboll's reaction when he got that offer and he didn't even consider it or speak to the team about it?
Yeah.
You move back, you pick up 2 second-rounders, and you can still get one of those top
and a 1 next year.
What's that?
And a 1 next year.
Man, it's just the fact that he just said no. Didn't talk about it. You're in a war room with a bunch of people that you pay to know what to do, and you don't talk to any of them. You just make that decision right then and there. Wow. And you saw it written all over Daboll's face. I'm going to kick my feet up. I'm going to Monty myself out of here this year.
And again, Jacoby Brissett might be the starter there, but I mean, it is
stopgap. That's all.
It is, man. Joe Milton is completely outplaying everybody there in New England.
It's early though. Have you ever heard of this injury, guys? It's a sternoclavicular joint dislocation.
All right.
It's a dislocation between your breastbone and your clavicle. Because that's what happened to Hollywood Brown on the first play of the preseason. Hollywood Brown is out.
That's why you don't play.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyone that thought Hollywood Brown is going to really invigorate the new team, it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
That's the argument for not playing.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
They got a 170-pound first-round receiver, and they got a guy that could be suspended for half the season. That's their wide receiver core.
Going back to this New England situation, if you look around the NFL, how many teams, and maybe this is a better topic for tomorrow when we can really go through it, but how many teams do you feel have no shot at the playoff this year? Because it's less than a handful. No shot at the playoffs. And the reason why I thought about that is New England.
Yeah.
I consider New England as that one team that's got no shot.
Carolina.
That's okay. So AFC East: Buffalo, Miami, Jets, New England.
Titans, they have no shot.
I don't know if the Titans have no shot. To be honest with you, I think Will Levis is. Listen,
I like Will Levis. I don't think they have a shot in the AFC.
In that division, I don't think it's out of. I don't think it's out of the.
That is a wacky division.
But I'll give you Tennessee. I'll do it for you. Okay, so we've got New England. Everybody in the AFC North has a chance. I'll give you Tennessee. And how about the Raiders? The Raiders have no chance.
And the Giants.
So 3 teams.
How about Broncos?
They're on that list.
3 teams. I think the Broncos have a shot. No?
No way.
You don't think
You
so?
buying into the Bo Nix hype?
No way.
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I don't
AFC
know
is
yet.
too good.
Okay, so that's 4. And then you got Carolina and the Giants.
Vikings.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that the Vikings have no chance of the playoff. Just not going to say it.
How about Saints?
I'm not going to say that at all.
Anybody can win that division
except Carolina.
Even that division's so mediocre. Even Carolina
7 and
with
10
a good
might
effort
win that
from
division.
How
Bryce.
about Seattle?
Nah, they could make it.
Okay, so
argument can be made.
Argument can be made, but we'll go Seattle, Carolina, and the Giants. 3 teams in the NFC, 3 teams in the AFC. That's 6 teams. That's 26 teams that have an opportunity to make the playoffs. The NFL is as healthy as any league in the history of this game.
Finally.
That is what this league is all about. Going to take a break. ESPN is coming out with a new documentary on Armando Galarraga. They're trying to get his name added to the list of pitchers to throw a perfect game.
Yes.
Should it happen.
Yes.
We'll get that for you next. But first, a message from Swiss.
There you go. Now more than ever, it's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed, and Swiss Insurance will make sure that your carrier is not slipping in those extra fees. Call Market Swiss Insurance today, 313-530-1698, or visit SwissINS.com. We shall return.
The countdown to kickoff is here. Your Detroit Lions are ready for another season of grit. Woodward Sports is your #1 destination for all breaking news and Lions coverage. We are Detroit's #1 sports network. We are Woodward Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody!
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good.
Me too.
Randy Wise Automotive. How would you like to play the University of Michigan golf course with Braylon Edwards? It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Register today and you can round off a group with 4 people in it, and you can register at woodwardsports.com or scan the QR code on the screen right here. When it comes to your next car or truck, make the wise decision, Randy Wise Automotive. And when you pull up to the golf tour, why don't you do it with some new merch, man? Are you tired of the same old Detroit sports merch? It's a new era in sports wearables, new designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate swag. Check out Woodward Sports' latest gear at woodwardsports.com and click shop. Hoodies, tees, hats, everything guaranteed to turn heads. Get the latest designs today, but only at woodwardsports.com and click that shop tab.
Welcome back, Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Of course, Anson Wells is with us today, and I want to talk a little documentary with you. I think this is one of the biggest sports stories in Detroit sports history, and it was June 2nd, 2010. Armando Galarraga throws what should have been the 21st perfect game in the history of Major League Baseball. Wow. 27 up, 27 down. You never forget where you were on that day if you were a baseball fan and you were around. Jim Joyce admitted that he made a mistake. He felt terrible about it. It's been a thing. But now ESPN, in a new E60 documentary, is trying to make a pitch to Major League Baseball and Rob Manfred to add Armando Galarraga's name to the list of pitchers to throw a perfect game. It's coming at the end of August, and I'm going to play the trailer for you.
Good morning, everyone. We're going to talk today about the case of Armando Galarraga. Back in 2010, he was on the verge of pitching what is known as a perfect game.
26 up, 26 down.
In the 150-plus years of baseball history, it's only been done less than 25 times.
27 up, 27 down. Baseball immortality.
What happened there has been talked about for the last decade and probably for decades to come.
Crowded better than 17,000 to its feet.
Everybody's on pins and needles trying to envision how this is going to end.
He's going to do it. It's going to happen.
Ground ball, right side. Cabrera will cut it off. Galarraga covered.
I remember thinking, oh, he did it. I'm out.
He's out. No, he's safe. He is safe.
Oh, my goodness, Jim Joyce. No.
I was the most hated man in the world.
I was in shock.
What a travesty for Armando Galarraga.
This is a history call, and I kicked the shit out of it.
It struck me as being an example of an injustice.
The goal of the overall project was how to use precedent in order to see if that could change the outcome.
I have received your submission, an 82-page document,
making a case for Armando Galarraga to be added to the list of pitchers who had a perfect game.
Sincerely, Robert D. Manfred, Jr.
Do you think Armando Galarraga earned a perfect game that day?
E60 presents 28 Outs, an imperfect story. August 18th, 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Same day streaming on ESPN+.
I mean, I got goosebumps watching that. I literally have goosebumps
That's
on my
Sunday.
arms.
This
That
Sunday.
is just Sunday.
Yeah.
It is incredible. Now, I think, and I don't even know if this is disputable, that Armando Galarraga himself probably was benefited more by the call that was made than if he was just awarded the out and the perfect game. I think that is not even a debatable point. However, that's all gone now. I mean, that's I don't know what history says about that when we leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what history says about that. Like, as time goes on, people's memories about certain situations fade.
True.
And I think that now is the perfect time to add Armando Galarraga to the list of pitchers who have thrown a perfect game. And, oh, by the way, if there was replay, obviously would have been out. There's now replay in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And he got the next hitter out as well. So
Even-
really it was 28 up and
I
28
forgot who
down.
the Indians batter was, but even he put his hands on his head as he ran across the base.
And that was
he
him.
hustled.
That was him in the documentary.
Yeah, he hustled.
Yeah.
He did what you're supposed to do in baseball.
Yep.
Play every single out. But as a junkie, I can't go back and change 14 years ago because it's over.
Why can't we?
It doesn't matter anymore.
How many times do official scores go back and
change an RBI to an error?
RBI to an error,
Yeah.
change a hit.
Yeah.
Baseball has a history of doing stuff like this.
They do.
Yeah.
Going back and changing a statistic.
This is a historic
And
statistic.
that's what this statistic is. And again, I think that for Armando Galarraga personally, it's benefited him more this way than it would have if it just was a benign thing, players out, and you move on. But at some point, that benefit ends. And what I'm saying is, I think that benefit has now ended. You've reached that max. You've reached that crescendo, and now it's downhill. And now it's to the point where you add them to the list.
Yeah, you said down the road what matters. And what matters are records that are written in black and white that are forever. And the MLB has gone back and changed not only statistics, I believe that there's been a couple of outcomes that have been changed in arrears. This is one that I think that absolutely needs to happen. I'm not sure. I'm assuming that at least you two guys have seen Ken Burns' baseball.
Yes.
No, I've seen that.
Now, did you guys watch episode 10? Because that was released a few months after this happened, and I remember, I haven't seen it, but I remember Ken Burns saying that he was going to open that documentary with Armando Galarraga being robbed of that. So, as cool as it is to have the notoriety and people to know your name because you got jobbed out of a perfect game, if I'm that man, I want that record.
Yeah.
I want it in Cooperstown. I want it in every book that my grandkids can ever look up. I want that record.
Yeah, and he deserves it. And I always say that because that happened, we got replay in baseball. That was the absolute catalyst for replay being put into baseball. So it was technically a good thing that it happened, but This is an individual. This is not even a team stat. And you said that they've gone back and changed team stats. This is an individual stat that if it was something that wasn't so blatant, then maybe I'd argue, okay, let's not, mess with baseball tradition and what the officials, final outcome is. But with something that was just so blatant and so obvious, I don't think there's a problem to go back this many years later and fix what you should have fixed in the first place and give this man his spot in history that he earned. He absolutely earned this accolade. He deserves it, and I hope that they give it to him.
Here's
Amen.
the list from the 50s. I'm not going to give you Cy Young and those guys. Don Larson, perfect game in the World Series. Jim Bunning. Sandy Koufax. Catfish Hunter when he was with Oakland. Len Perfect Game Barker. That's the only reason you know Len Barker, because they gave him the nickname Len Perfect Game Barker. Pitched for the Indians. 99% of you people wouldn't know who he is. Mike Witt. Who's heard of Mike Witt besides an old guy like me? Pitched for California. Tom Browning. Okay, Cincinnati Red. He was a gamer. Nothing special. Dennis Martinez, El Presidente. It was a fantastic game. That was a Montreal Expos. That was fun. Kenny Rogers. Oh, baby, Kenny Rogers.
Kenny.
Came here, pitched for the Tigers, and
guy.
beat the Yankees. David Wells, drunk from the night before, came in and pitched the day game. Perfect game. How about David Cohn? Not too far after him with the Yankees. Randy Johnson. No need to tell you there. Mark Burley of the White Sox. Dallas Braden of Oakland. Now he's on MLB Network. Again, a lot of people, who the hell's Dallas Braden? Roy Halladay, the late, great Roy Halladay for the Phillies. Philip Humber for the White Sox. There's a lot of names on this list that no one knows who the hell they are. And Armando Galarraga's name would have been on there. Matt Cain with the Giants. I didn't even know he had a perfect
Legends
game.
and scrubs. That's the list.
Felix Hernandez, the King
Felix
in Seattle.
Stud.
Domingo Herman for the Yankees last year.
Yeah. Three
Against
Yankees.
Oakland. Yes.
Well, 4 if you Don Drysdale.
Isn't that something?
Well.
And half of those guys, well, a quarter of those guys, no one even knows who they are. But like you said, Rye, everyone knows Armando Galarraga because he got robbed of it. So he's gotten more notoriety of not getting the perfect game.
I completely agree with you. My only argument is that at a certain point, that notoriety ends.
Yes.
That notoriety ends.
Yeah. Not when it has a documentary on it.
It'll last 3 years.
Yeah.
It's about time. In 5 years, he needs to have the change. They can't make the change before the documentary because then there's no need for a documentary.
I'd like to know what he thinks about it.
Yeah.
If he wants to be on it
That's
or
the
not.
main question.
I'd like to know what Dan Dickerson has to say about it. Can we get him on maybe Wednesday?
Of course.
I'd like to talk to Dan Dickerson.
Sure.
It's something that only, you said, 27 people
about
have
Jim Leland?
done in almost over 100 years of baseball, though. This is no small stat. So, like I said, he's earned it. You need to give it to him.
Jim Leland would be a great guy to talk to about this.
Well,
Well, he's more of a history of a baseball guy. Did you see when he went out and talked to Jim Joyce? He didn't yell at him.
No, he
went
just
out
said he
there.
knew you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And
That's
we
the
all
guy-
know the next day, didn't Armando get a Corvette?
And gave him the lineup and everything
Yep,
like that.
and he got a Corvette. I mean,
What were you going to say, Pete?
I was going to say, that's the guy I'd like to hear from, Jim Joyce. How does he
he's in the
feel about this
documentary.
being continually dragged through the mud about how bad he felt after the whole
Right,
thing?
no doubt.
that's good stuff, man.
it
I'm
is.
looking forward to it.
Tigers off
He
tonight.
made a country album.
Tigers off tonight. They open up a series. They won.
They split 3-3 on the road. They get Mariners for 4. Let's see, Tuesday,
Let me
Wednesday,
ask you-
Thursday. No, for 3, and then they get the Yankees this weekend.
Minute left of the show. Would you rather be where the Tigers are as an organ? Maybe a good topic for tomorrow or the next day. Would you rather be where the Tigers are as an organization or the Chicago White Sox?
I knew you was going to say that. Tigers in a heartbeat.
And the reason I say that is because when the Tigers lost 119 games in 2003, 3 years later, when you are so bad, you are forced into doing something to get good quickly. And 3 years later, they were in the World Series. 3 years ago, the Chicago White Sox won the division.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Amazing.
And the way the rebuild is Tigers 8 years ago, they made the playoffs, they are still a below 500 team. So, I mean, would you rather be in this purgatory?
Bro, it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, it was 10 years ago. Would you rather be in this purgatory where the Tigers are right now of a 10-year rebuild that, by the way, you think they're on the brink of doing something, but we've been saying that for 3 years now? Or would you rather be where the White Sox are, where you just completely blow everything up? You might spend a little bit of money in the offseason, and 3 years from now, you probably are going to win the division again.
I'd rather be a Detroit.
Depends on who the owner is.
I'd rather be where the White Sox are right now.
I'd rather be a
Who's
Detroit.
the better owner?
Living in Detroit, baby.
Who's the better owner?
You know, like the 10-year rebuild.
I get it.
But
even if the Tigers lost 119 games, there's still no guarantee that your owner will go out and
No, I understand that. But it just, if you think about it, when you're so historically bad, you are forced to go do something.
Why does Chicago have 2 baseball teams? And how did you get out of this episode without talking about Harbaugh?
Dang.
Captain Comeback, Captain Jimmy. My guy. I love it. Go blue.
right.
Hey, Jimmy, you and me, baby.
I see your shirt. I see what color you elected to wear today.
Captain Jim. Love it.
Up yours.
Great
NCAA.
move by Michigan. Great move by Harbaugh.
Expected
Great
move by
Sherrod
Michigan.
Moore.
Consistent, they are.
Well, very good.
Bad, Anson. Mad.
Anson, you want to get us out of here, buddy?
You know, I hope you guys all have a fantastic week. We got the beautiful weather, and we got our man Maz back, so it's going to be a fun week here at Woodward. Make sure you come back tomorrow and check us out. And after this show, you already know, you got the heavyweights.
Oh, yeah.
So don't go too far, guys.
Heavyweights, baby.
See you guys.